everybody. Thank you for being here with us at the 2021 Waves and Wildlife photo and video celebration. We're so grateful that you joined us on this Friday, this first Friday. So thank you for being with us virtually. I just wanted to take a moment to mention that at any point during the celebration, if you have questions or comments that you want addressed from our artists, please feel free to put those in the chat and we'll make sure those get to our question and answer section. And I just wanted to take a moment to also introduce myself if we haven't met yet. My name is Eric Donnelly Greenan, and I'm the new executive director at Save Our Shores. I joined the team in the middle of September, and I'm so excited to see what 2022 and beyond brings for us and the team. So thank you so much for being here with us, and we're grateful to have you. So we're going to start this evening with a little bit of background and history of Save Our Shores, and then we'll kick off the event with the photo and video winners and a little bit of trivia, and we'll continue on from there. So first, we like to take a moment to make sure that we do a land and water acknowledgement. Save Our Shores is based in Santa Cruz, which is on the traditional unceded territory of UP tribe of the Aswaswas speaking peoples. They and their ancestors have continually occupied the greater Monterey Bay region, thriving for thousands of years and countless generations prior to European contact. We want to acknowledge that this virtual event is taking place in the unceded territory of the California home to nearly 200 tribal nations. We honor these ancestral grounds that we are collectively gathered upon and support the resilience and strength of all the indigenous peoples that have shown worldwide. And from here, we'd love to launch into a little bit of a history of Save Our Shores. I'm sure some are familiar, but it's always a good background so you know what we're about. Save Our Shores is a organization that was funded back in 1978 and is a grassroots organization that was brought together to prevent offshore drilling in the Monterey Bay. Save Our Shores later helped to define and establish the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, which you can see on the map there. And since that time, Save Our Shores has continued to advance ocean conservation and efforts through impactful advocacy, awareness, and action, while continuing to mobilize a large following of supporters and volunteers throughout the Monterey Bay region. In recent years, Save Our Shores has been at the forefront of advocacy to combat plastic pollution and also the climate crisis. In 2017, our multi-year campaign to end illegal sand mining along the sanctuary shores resulted in an agreement for the shutdown of the Cimex sand mine in Marina, California, and that plant officially closed in November of last year. Currently, we are excited to expand our regional K-12 educational offerings, and we are now including a virtual reality program called Dive, an inspiring journey through California's marine protected areas. This program was a collaboration between Save Our Shores and Virtual Planet, and our team is actually rolling it out as we speak, so please keep an eye out for that. Also, this past June, Save Our Shores took part in the Truth Plus Justice Equals Hope. This was a California Ocean and Climate Justice mini fellowship and summit. It was a collaboration between the Resource Center for Nonviolence and Save Our Shores. This collaborative effort affirms that Save Our Shores is committed to integrating a call for environmental justice into its vision, its mission, our values, and also our actions. And so with that brief history on Save Our Shores, we'd like to launch right into the event itself. And we want to make sure we take a moment to thank our Waves and Wildlife 2021 sponsor, Resorts Legacy Fund. We're so grateful for that sponsorship. We also want to take a moment to thank all of our amazing prize donors this year. So we received great donations from Santa Cruz Dream Inn, from Backscatter Deepwater Video and Photo, from New Leaf Community Markets, from Ethos, and also from Discretion Brewery. So thank you all so much. We're excited to give those prizes out. And so to take a little bit of a deeper dive into what those prizes look like, our first place for photography this evening will win a Dream and Stay in Santa Cruz, a one-night stay in an ocean view or double queen with a private balcony valued at $250. Our second place winner in photography this evening will win a Backscatter underwater video and photo gift certificate for $125. And our third place winner in photography goes home with a $100 gift certificate from Ethos Santa Cruz. Our video award this evening will walk away with a $125 gift certificate to Backscatter and a Discretion Brewery gift card. We also have an Audience Choice Awards nomination and winner for video and photo, and they will win a gift certificate of $100 for New Leaf Community Markets. Last but not least, we have Plastic Pollution Art Contest winners. We have 3 $100 gift certificates that we're giving away from New Leaf, also 2 $50 gift certificates, and 2 $25 gift certificates from Wild Roots Market. So lots of great prizes that we're giving out this evening. So now I'd like to introduce you to Nicole Palma. Nicole holds a Master's of Professional Science degree and is the program manager at the MPA Collaborative Network. She's going to tell us a little bit about marine protected areas and their importance. And so we are so grateful to have Nicole with us here tonight. Take it away, Nicole.
All right, 1 second while I share my screen. All right, that looks good for everyone? Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Nicole Palma, and I am the program manager with the MPA, or Marine Protected Area Collaborative Network. And I'll go into what we do at the Collaborative Network a little bit further in my presentation. But essentially, I'm just going to talk about the MPAs in California, why they're important, and then how you can get involved. So in California, there is a network of state marine protected areas all along the coast from the Del Norte, Oregon border down to the San Diego, Mexico border. These MPAs were finalized in 2012. And when that happened, that statewide network of MPAs made California home to the largest scientifically designed stakeholder-driven network of MPAs in North America, and is recognized globally for its stakeholder-driven approach to planning out those MPAs, where they would be and what those regulations would be when they were implemented. So the network itself includes 124 marine protected areas and 14 special closures, which are another type of MPA that basically protects rookery haulouts for birds and marine mammals. And all that protection covers about 16% of California's waters, with 9% of that being no-take MPAs, so completely protected. Prior to the MPA network, prior to when it was implemented, only 3% of the state waters were protected. So there are kind of different designations or maybe flavors of marine protected areas out here in California. In general, these state MPAs that I'm talking about now kind of fall into 2 broad categories. The state marine reserves, which are always shown in red on maps and in graphics, those are no-take MPAs, and they're kind of considered the backbone of the network. The other designations allow for some level of take, and it's location specific. And you can find out more about the designations and regulations for each MPA on the California Department of Fish and Wildlife's website, which I'll drop a link to that website in the chat at the end of my presentation. So kind of what is an MPA, right? In general, they're kind of like national or state parks, but they're underwater. And as I mentioned, there are many different types of those around the globe, not just here in California. But here we do have MPAs that kind of fall into those 2 state marine reserve categories or state marine conservation areas. But we also have multi-use national marine sanctuaries. And those are MPAs, but managed on the federal level. And here around Monterey Bay, we have the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. And the cool thing about MPAs is that they're open to the public for education, research, and appreciation. So you can go and you can enjoy them. You can go diving, swimming, boating, visiting, sunbathing, walking the beach, whatever it may be, you are allowed to enjoy those protected spaces. But like I mentioned, those reserves, you just can't take anything, and that includes shells, and as well as other geological features, not just fishing or collecting from tide pools. And again, those state marine conservation areas, that's where it starts to get a little trickier, where the regulations vary by each MPA, but allow for a specific type of take For example, you may be allowed to fish for finfish by hook and line only from shore in one particular MPA. So it's really important to know before you go. Check out those regulations before you go out to enjoy the coast. And then finally, national marine sanctuaries, they allow for a lot more activities, but they do work to protect habitats and biological communities by prohibiting oil exploration, drilling, discharge, and other harmful activities. And so why do we want MPAs? What is their purpose? In general, the ocean is facing a lot of threats these days. We have climate change, overfishing and collecting, habitat destruction, coastal development, pollution, runoff, lots of different impacts that are kind of hurting our ocean ecosystems. And marine protected areas are just one tool in our kind of conservation toolbox to help mitigate those negative threats. And they work by supporting the whole web of life in an area. So instead of focusing on just protecting a particular species, like the Fish and Game Code regulations do for, take limits for maybe a type of rockfish, these protect a whole ecosystem. And the benefits of MPAs can include everything from conserving biodiversity and whole ecosystems to increasing the size of fish in an area and the number of fish that can be found. They can help support ecosystem resilience. So there's been studies that show MPAs can help mitigate the impacts of climate change by improving that resiliency. They allow for education and recreation and cultural practice opportunities, like I mentioned before. They can help increase tourism and local economic uses as more people come to visit these pristine places. And they can provide reference sites for long-term research and monitoring. So we can really learn a lot from these areas where we're limiting human impacts. This slide shows a map of kind of our area, which this kind of big line here represents the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. And then within that, we'll see that all of the state of California MPAs. So the blue ones are those state marine conservation areas, and the red are the state marine reserves. Around Monterey Bay, there are 19 MPAs between Monterey and Santa Cruz County. And Monterey County actually has more MPAs than any other county in the state. So what do we do? What do I do? The collaborative network in this MPA realm. The collaborative network is an umbrella organization that supports and coordinates the activities of 14 coastal county-based volunteer MPA stakeholder groups. And we call these groups collaboratives. Our mission is to empower coastal communities to advance MPA management and encourage ocean stewardship. The collaboratives provide a forum and a structure for diverse stakeholders, everyone from scientists, fishermen and women, tribal partners, nonprofits, government agencies, ocean businesses, museums and aquarium, educators, docents, community members, anyone with an interest or who wants to be involved in the marine protected area realm, or just an interest in the ocean and the coast is welcome to join the collaborative. And so those groups bring all these people together to engage locally in MPA management, carrying out projects that answer local needs and are specific to the community. So the California Department of Fish and Wildlife manages the network on a network-wide scale and has the authority over the management decisions, but the collaboratives provide support to CDFW in a number of ways. Collaboratives provide support through education and outreach projects, research and monitoring projects, and enforcement and compliance. So for example, currently the Santa Cruz and Monterey collaboratives are working on a joint project that includes a tourism outreach campaign to increase the awareness of MPAs and ultimately, hopefully, increase compliance with regulations among visitors to the coast. And that came out of an enforcement and compliance initiative that we are working on statewide, where we held community compliance forums in each coastal county to hear what you all thought were the issues on your coast. And then we're working on a project to address that. And then research and monitoring, every collaborative has access to like a mini underwater drone that they can use for their own projects to go out and take video. We connect scientists to other stakeholders, And there are a lot of community and citizen science projects that you can get involved in related to the marine protected areas. So that's my spiel. So you can learn more about us at mpacollaborative.org. I'll drop that link in the chat as well. And we really encourage everyone who wants to get involved to sign up for your local collaborative mailing list. You can do so on their web pages through our website. And I also really quickly wanted to mention that this is kind of an exciting time for MPAs in California because the MPAs are approaching their first decadal or 10-year management review. And this is part of an adaptive management process. So it's written into the law that created them that every 10 years, they will undergo a management review to see what's working, what's not, what do we know, what do we want to know, what has been done in the past 10 years, and what can we do in the future to improve the management. So I'll send another link in the chat to a special newsletter we sent out that has a lot more information about this review, links to resources and ways that you guys can get involved, because the state of California, California Department of Fish and Wildlife, really wants to hear from you and what you'd like to see in that report and ways that you'd like to get involved moving forward. So thank you all for your time today. Stop my screen share.
Thank you, Nicole. Much appreciated. So Nicole gave us a nice background on MPAs, what they do and why they're important. And so that leads us into an ongoing topic that we are all as organizations trying to get together and make sure that this goes through. And it's supporting the proposed Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary. And so now that you've learned a little bit about MPAs, we'll take a look at what this proposed National Marine Sanctuary, why it's important and why we should support it. It's an area that's culturally and historically relevant to the Chumash people. They have been stewards of this area for 9,000 or more years. These areas are also ecologically important and biodiverse, with numerous species calling these habitats home. And so when this designation is made for sanctuary status, it will connect 3 national marine sanctuaries together. And so that's huge. That's a huge amount of area that would be protected, not only for ecosystem health, but also for human use and migratory species. I think sometimes we forget that, you know, species and wildlife out there don't look at the boundaries that we create as humans. And so it's important to give them areas where they can flourish and thrive. And so we wanted to play this short video so we can familiarize everybody with the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary and its importance. And so we'll play that momentarily.
The Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary designation campaign is a group of committed citizens who would like to see the area of the Central Coast from Cambria down to Gaviota Creek protected from all the threats that it's currently facing. We do have significant opposition from oil and gas development because this impacts their bottom line, and there is oil out there to be had. One of the things about the Chumash Heritage National Marine Sanctuary designation would be an insistence that there's no regulation of fishing and no change in fishing rights.
In marine sanctuaries, fishing is compatible. We are not designating any of these marine sanctuaries on the West Coast to shut down fishing. That hasn't gone on, and that's not at all what we're interested in. The Sanctuaries Act envisions protecting the entire ecosystem, including the fish that are in that ecosystem, and we have numerous programs, regulatory and non-regulatory, that benefit fish and that benefit fishing.
People care about their water. Water is life. Water is everything to human beings and all living things on the earth.
It's voluntary. We ask ranchers and farmers that want to participate to come and share their best practices apply to their lands. We go out together to get grants, to try new things and monitor if those things are working, because we all want better water quality. The farmers want better water quality. They don't want to have an effect downstream. They care about Monterey Bay just as much as we do.
I think they also should care because we don't want to have a huge oil spill. We've seen it. That's one of the reasons why there are national marine sanctuaries, is after the big oil spill off of Santa Barbara, all of a sudden people began to understand that how damaging having offshore oil drilling is.
There's considerable oil and gas reserves off of Santa Maria, off, Santa Maria Basin, off this area here, but it would be consistent with these other sites, a permanent ban on leasing and development of new resources in those areas.
A sanctuary brings so many wonderful economic impacts to an area.
There's a study that we released on Monday of this week about Northern California and the impact of tourism there and how the sanctuary helps promote what amounts to $127 million in sanctuary-specific tourism. And we are actively looking for ways to promote, expand, and capitalize on existing programs with local governments, with businesses, with visitor and convention bureaus, etc.
And one of the things the sanctuary brings is if you have a sanctuary in your region, we become a conduit to all of NOAA, to NASA, to all of the federal government. We can help bring those resources and those grants to your community so your community gets to do things like climate adaptation strategies and to get to do science and see what's happening in our backyard. That's one advantage we bring is we tap you into all those resources that NOAA and other federal agencies can bring to the table. You have a big leg up on other coastal communities that don't have that organizing entity and agency that can go to Washington on your behalf and try and get that information and those resources to help your community.
When it comes to wildlife watching, everyone knows about the Serengeti in Africa, whether they've been there or not, but folks that live in coastal California or any other part of California may not be aware that the Serengeti of the sea, the equivalent in terms of marine wildlife watching, lies just off the Central California coast. Not only are there amazing displays of wildlife and big animals and mass migrations and predator and prey, but like the Serengeti, once you get there, it's very easy to do that wildlife watching. That includes walking along the shore and looking out at whales offshore or seals or sea lions on the rocks. We get tremendous wildlife in this area.
A lot of the indigenous people around the world have given up. And, I still believe there's hope. I believe that we can together create a momentum through thrivability. It's connecting everybody, it's connecting everything. It's just not segregating, and it's just not having a vision, that just lasts for a few years. Thrivability is a vision that lasts for, eons into the future.
So we hope that video was informative, and we really feel at Save Our Shores and with our communities that the recent oil spill off of Huntington Beach in October really emphasizes the need to push this effort into finalization. So as mentioned in the video, the sanctuary status for this area would preserve marine and cultural resources along 140 miles of Central California coastline, thus preventing oil development, seismic testing, dumping of agricultural wastewater, and other threats. Northern Chumash Tribal Chairwoman Violet Sage Walker, I was lucky enough to hear her speak this past Wednesday evening in honor of her late father, Chief Fred Collins, leader of the Northern Chumash Tribal Council. He unfortunately passed last month on October 1st. And she mentioned that he was so proud of his life work and this was so important to him. And now it has been passed down to Violet. And so she is so determined to make sure that she sees this through, and she definitely needs the assistance from all community members to help keep the pressure on and to make sure that this status is designated. And so we encourage all communities to come together and see this through, because we know that grassroots movements are impactful and effective. Save Our Shores is one example of that, and we know we can all come together and make sure that this sanctuary status goes through. So you can support through donation, signing petitions and learning more. We'll drop the links in the chat so that you can take a closer look, and we encourage you to help support this National Marine Sanctuary push forward. So thank you for that. And so now that we've touched base on why MPAs are so important for thriving ecosystems and also for communities of people, Now let's actually get into our amazing waves and wildlife entries for this year's event. All of the videos and the photos that were entered highlight a piece of this amazing ecosystem and the wildlife that exists and thrive within marine protected areas. And so let's all take a look.
Monterey Bay, where the microscopic feed the minuscule, which in turn feeds the immense. Where the curious meets the bizarre. Where science fiction becomes fact. Where it's always Christmas or Halloween. A fantastic realm teeming with life.
Awesome. It was so great to see everyone's Waves and Wildlife 2021 entries. Love hearing those elephant seal noises at the end of the video. We really appreciated everyone's entries this year. The winners of this year's contest were, of course, selected based on the quality and visual appeal of the images and videos. However, we also took into consideration how well the media represented the beauty, biodiversity, and significance of our marine protected areas. With so many exquisite entries, it's always so difficult to choose. I would really like to thank all the photographers and videographers who took the time to share their beautiful work with us, and we hope you enjoyed getting to view each of the entries. Now, I would like to announce this year's winners. First up are our Audience Choice Award winners, the artists whose entries received the most viewer votes on our website page. Drum roll, please. The Audience Choice Photo Award goes to Anemone Close-Up, captured by Becky Gustafson. We absolutely love the detail and color on this image, and of course, we love to see an invertebrate represented. Congratulations, Becky. I'd like to invite you to say a few words if you'd like to and feel comfortable.
I don't think Becky's here.
Okay. I was going to give her a second. If she's not here, we can continue. Next, we have our Audience Choice Video Award, which goes to Connor McLean for his Beneath the Bay video. This video amazingly captures the breath of life teeming beneath the water's surface in our MPAs and beyond, and shows how protecting these areas helps to support life at all levels of our ecosystems. Congratulations, Connor. I'm going to play your video really quickly, and then I would like to invite you to say a few words.
The Monterey Bay, where the microscopic feed the minuscule, which in turn feeds the immense. Where the curious meets the bizarre. Where science fiction becomes fact. Where it's always Christmas or Halloween. A fantastic realm teeming with life.
I love it so much. And Connor has a whole suite of amazing videos. Also, just putting a plug for that using his ROV. Connor, are you on tonight? And would you like to say a few words?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So yeah, it was a very interesting, few days of filming. This is like a few days kind of mixed into one. But this was thank you so much for, giving me the award and stuff like that. And for anyone here who's interested, the whales were filmed of a DJI Pocket 2 Blue. Sorry, I have notes here, but they're not really written well. Sorry, DJI Pocket camera, and the rest was on the Trident for like the underwater shots. I'm not good at speaking. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. So thank you.
And thank you so much. We're happy to have you here with us tonight as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Now on to our photo awards. I would like to present the third place photo award to Phil Lemley for his image Jelly and Diver. The beautiful purple striped jelly in this image gives an elegant feel as it floats effortlessly past the photographer below. We loved the cool hues of this image and their calming effect on the viewer. This picture also reminds us that many MPAs support recreational activities such as swimming, kayaking, paddleboarding, snorkeling, and scuba diving. By protecting these magnificent marine areas and allowing public access, more people can experience the unique landscapes and life held within and form a connection to our marine environment. This can in turn lead to a deeper appreciation for and willingness to respect and protect our world oceans. Congratulations, Phil. If you're willing, we'd love for you to share a few words.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
I have bad reception where I am, so
we can hear you.
I will keep it short. I appreciate it. This was a wonderful, I think a great example of everything I love about Monterey Bay, of a day that seemed like a very ordinary dive, and then saw a beautiful purple striped jelly that just seemed like it was going to be a very average day. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so
I don't have, yeah.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Our second place is awarded to Molly McCorkle for her image, California Sea Lion. When reviewing the entries this year, we couldn't look at this image without smiling. At the risk of anthropomorphizing here, the sea lion in this picture almost looks to be smiling himself. Coupled with the beautiful and bright color palette, this evokes an irresistible feeling of happiness in the viewer. Charismatic megafauna like sea lions, seals, and otters often are some of the first organisms to capture our attention and garner our admiration. Species like these help draw people to our oceans and MPAs, and they can often act as ambassadors for the rest of the ecosystem. When we form connections to these animals and want to help protect them, those protections can act as an umbrella and help to benefit other species in the ecosystem simultaneously. Congratulations, Molly. Please share a few words if you'd like. Is Molly on with us this evening?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you. This is a nice surprise. This one was taken down in Elkhorn Slough, which is one of my favorite places to go out and photograph. And yes, when I saw this sea lion, I thought he was laughing at me and I was laughing back at him and couldn't stop taking pictures of him. So thank you for choosing one. This is one of my favorites from this past year.
Absolutely. It's a really great image. We loved it. Thank you so much. All right. And another drum roll for the first place winner of the photo contest. The first place winning image is John Anderson's Cormorant vs. Cabezon. This stunning and crisp image shows such intricate detail in the eye and bill of the cormorant and the face of the cabezon. The vibrant colors pop right off the screen. Furthermore, this photo actively demonstrates the important ecological interactions that take place in our MPAs and gives us a glimpse into an oceanic food web. MPAs provide safe places for fish and other species to reproduce and grow, offering a safe haven from more consumptive activities such as commercial fishing. Not only does this allow for populations to rebound and expand, but it also helps to ensure that there is greater food availability for other organisms throughout the food web. These benefits can spill over into nearby areas and support healthy ecosystems throughout our oceans. Congratulations, John, for capturing this special moment and winning first place. We'd love for you to also share a few words.
Thank you. Yeah. So as you said, this was on the Elkhorn Slough, and it was actually a day we invited some friends to come down to Elkhorn Slough and go kayaking with us. And we were out kayaking, kind of heading back toward the harbor area, and saw this cormorant pop up right next to us. And normally when a cormorant pops up next to you, it either kind of swims away or maybe will take off and fly. And this one clearly had something that it was more interested in than us being close or trying to get away. So I eventually saw that it had a quite large fish that it was trying to eat, and maybe 2 or 3 minutes that it kind of struggled with this fish. It dropped it a few times, picked it back up, and then eventually it actually did swallow the thing whole and swim away. So yeah, but I like this photo the best because you can really, like you mentioned, see the details of the cormorant and its eye and tell that it's got a pretty large fish.
Yeah, we were all commenting on like its ocular ring and those little blue dots encircling the turquoise eye. So such incredible detail. I really wish I got to see it swallowing this fish bowl. I can't imagine what that must have been like.
Yeah, it was and then you could see it like in its neck for a while after it swallowed it. I'm sure it didn't go down too easy, but it didn't want to give up the meal, I guess. So
well, thank you so much for sharing and congratulations.
Thank you.
Last but not least, the winner of this year's video category is Bruce Sudwigs with his Young Cormorant training video. The music and infectious energy of this video simply makes you want to dance around in celebration of life. This video also exemplifies the active and lively scenes of our MPAs and provides another wonderful example of the refuge they provide, allowing young birds like these to learn critical survival skills like diving and foraging without large-scale disturbances. Congratulations, Bruce. We'd like you to share a few words after I just play your video one last time. I love the music choice so much. Great. Bruce, if you're on with us, we'd love for you to say a few words.
Yeah, I'm here. It was just good luck to be in the area where the young cormorants were, doing their training session. And I got to capture them doing their thing, being silly.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. It's rare to be able to see something like this where you're actually getting the underwater perspective of the bird's life. Usually we only see them above the water. And so it's cool for me, at least, to get this perspective and see them where they truly thrive under the water. So thank you so much and congratulations. Great. And with that, we do also have several honorable mentions that we'd love to share with you. Our first honorable mention, Nap Time in the Slough by John Anderson. This one equally invokes a feeling of happiness, just like Molly's Sea Lion. Sunset and the Pelicans at Natural Bridges by Ray Burks. Cleared for Landing at the Elkhorn Slough by Heather Fascio. A Happy Girl at SoCal Canyon by John Hunter. I'm going to mispronounce one of the words in here, but we'll see. Sea Nettle, Sea Bastes, and Sunshine at Point Lobos by Phil Lemley. Taking the Leap at Natural Bridges by Irene Reddy. Point Lobos, SMR and SMCA by Connie Spear. Not a Peaceful Moment. Young Male Sea Otter Battles Territorial Male at Elkhorn Slough by Kim Steinhardt. Royal Fringehead at Edward Ricketts by Bruce Sudwigs. The Little Shorebird That Could at Carmel Bay by Yvonne Wright. And with that, we would love for all the photographers who entered their photos this year to go ahead and turn on your cameras if you're comfortable, and we'll stop screen sharing so that we can take a group photo. Excellent. Great. Well, thank you everyone for amusing us and turning on your cameras for a minute. And sorry you couldn't when you were giving your remarks. Apologize for that. Let's head back over to our PowerPoint. Awesome. And we'd like to take an opportunity for anyone on the call tonight to ask any questions to any of the photographers here this evening, any of the photographers who entered the competition. So if anyone has any questions for the photographers, please go ahead and enter those into the chat and we'll address those as they come in. And we did have a question from Marilyn. Will you have another event next year? Great question, Marilyn. I can say it's kind of TBD at this point. The funding that we get for this program did run out after this year, but we are thinking about whether or not we'd like to continue hosting this competition into the future and continue hosting it with our partners. So it's a little bit TBD, but we'll try to let folks know as soon as we have decided. And we had a question from Connor for Bruce. Were you scuba diving for your video?
Yes, I was.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions for the photographers?
Or any photographers that would like to share anything else, since I mistakenly didn't have you on camera earlier. If you'd like to come back on for a cameo appearance, feel free.
Okay, we do have another question. If any of the photographers have tips for getting those awesome shots while not interrupting the animal's natural behavior, and recommendations for how to get started in the photography world. I'll leave that open if there's anyone that would like to respond to those.
Yeah, I guess what I would say, so specifically with the cormorant shot, like it popped up right by us. And so I think my advice would be go out a lot. The more you're out there, the more likely the special things like that are to happen. And I mean, in that case, I must have had my camera in my hand because I usually keep it in a dry bag when I'm kayaking if there's not something going on. So it's probably a little bit of luck and also just being out there pretty often. And the reason I keep it in a dry bag is I use a fairly long telephoto lens, which on a kayak is a little scary if you're going to tip over, but I guess
scary.
Yeah, stable kayak, it's not so bad, and don't go out if it's windy. And insurance is not a bad idea, I guess, too, for your camera equipment. So.
Thanks, John. I would also say probably patience, just being really patient, going out and finding a spot to sit. The longer you sit still and quiet, the more things you'll get to see without disturbing or scaring any wildlife that are nearby. Recommendations for how to get started in the photography world.
There's an organization, hi, this is Elizabeth, North American Nature Photography Association, and they also have a great list of ethics of taking photographs in nature. So I would go online, it's NAMPA, N-A-M-P-A, is the abbreviation, nampa.org, but that's a North American Nature Photography Association. I think you'll find quite helpful.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That's a great recommendation.
I would also just recommend taking as many pictures as you can. And even with your iPhone these days, iPhones can take really nice photographs. You do not need a fancy camera, and just shoot with whatever you have and capture whatever you see.
That's a great point. And Bruce, we had another question for you from Connor. What type of camera did he use?
It's a Panasonic GH5.
Great. Excellent. Any other questions for the photographers or videographers? Great. Well, with that, I think we can cruise right into our pop quiz section of the evening. And I will pass it over to Krista Rogers to take over.
Thanks, Emily. Hello, everyone. This is my favorite part of the night where we get to test your knowledge about our amazing wildlife and marine protected areas. And see if you all were paying attention during the slideshow, or just testing how much you can recognize these places or these species. So this is just for fun. We don't have a prize for this. We just want to be able to highlight more of the photos that we received this year. So feel free to unmute yourself and shout out an answer or type an answer into the chat, whichever you prefer. We have 5 questions headed your way. First up is a name that species. So this is a beautiful image by Ray Burks, and we want to see if anyone knows what species this is. We'll give you 30 seconds on the clock. Ooh, everyone in the chat is coming to a consensus. I love it. You are all amazing and right on. This is a green heron. This was taken at Natural Bridges, and I just love this shot. Green herons are known for being pretty elusive, solitary birds. So being able to capture one like this is pretty awesome. So thank you, Ray, for this awesome photo. Next up, this one is a little bit tricky, but we'll see who can recognize this MPA. So we want you to take a guess and name that MPA. Where do you think this photo was taken? This is a beautiful image by Heather Fazio. Again, you're all right on. Consensus in the chat again of Point Lobos, and you are correct. This is Point Lobos. Those amazing rocks and features give it away a bit, but I was just there yesterday, and I can say it is as beautiful as this picture. All right, this image was submitted by John Anderson. And this is another one we're going to test your knowledge of species, and we'd love for you to name that species. Does anyone know what this is? Well, I'm glad we can all agree in the chat that it is a jelly of some type. And Nicole, you're correct. There is 2 species in this photo. The human is number 1. The other one that lives in the MPA is an egg yolk jelly. These are huge jellies. They're actually one of the largest jellies that visits the Monterey Bay. Their bell can get up to 3 feet long, which is pretty amazing, with all of those hundreds of tentacles hanging around to catch their food. They have a mild sting, but definitely still want to keep a distance. All right, our second Name That MPA. This is an amazing shot by Becky Gomo. And I love this picture, especially these birds that are featured. But we want to know, can you name that MPA? The mud flats might have given it away, but this is Elkhorn Slough. You all are getting an A+ so far. And those are some white pelicans that love to visit the Elkhorn Slough every year. We have one final photo we want to share with you all. And this is by Bruce Sudweeks. This is an awesome picture. And we want to know if you can identify this species. So go ahead and name that species if you can guess. What is this? Well, I'm very impressed. We got a couple answers in the chat, which are correct. This is a wolf eel. And the reason some of you said a juvenile wolf eel is based on its coloring. So thank you so much for guessing this. The juvenile wolf eel is distinguished by its orange color. They lose that orange brightness as they get older and mature, and they turn into more of a grayish brown, but who can't love that face? Thank you, Bruce. I love this photo, and I'm very happy that we're able to highlight some amazing entries with this fun little pop quiz trivia round. And now I'll pass it over for our plastic pollution art contest. We have a couple prizes to give out for this, for some amazing entries here.
Thanks, Krista. Thanks for the fun trivia. It has been so much fun meeting all of you photographers and videographers who have so generously shared your talent with us through the Waves and Wildlife contest over the past few years. Thank you all for helping to raise awareness about the need to protect more of our ocean and never take it for granted. As a mom, a former high school art teacher, and one who believes that the arts and creative thinking will be essential in telling the story of tomorrow and creating the future we all want to live in, it was also a lot of fun seeing the fun entries that rolled in for our plastic pollution art contest. Save Our Shores hosted this contest to help raise awareness about the need to protect our ocean from single-use plastic bottles. With 1 million plastic beverage bottles sold every minute, plastic bottles and bottle caps have earned their rank as the 3rd and 4th most littered items worldwide. These plastics are breaking down in our oceans and making their way into our food webs and into our own bodies. It is estimated that humans ingest about a credit card's worth of plastic every week. Additionally, the creation of these bottles is a huge contributor to global climate change, with 17 million barrels of oil being used every year to produce plastic, water, and soda bottles in the US alone. I'm going to place in the link a link to our plastic pollution petition in case any of you have not yet signed and shared that with friends. Since the contest was originated to help promote our plastic bottle petition, the main entry criteria was that the artwork could be created using any medium, but should include plastic beverage bottles as a primary component of the design. Look for the fun ways that our award winners incorporated plastic bottles into their work. So we have, for our under 12 category, 3rd place goes to Alea Riss and Paige Anderson with their boardwalk representation. And there are bottles in this. They're hard to see, but if you look carefully, you can spot them up there on the sea swings. For under 12 2nd place, we have Paul Dale with his Council of Fish. He's got another thing to kind of look carefully into. We do see a water bottle down here, or some sort of bottle down here in the front as part of this installation piece. For our under 12 1st place, we have 4 entries from the Monte Vista Elementary Ocean Guardians Club. And this was kind of neat because the person who submitted for them, which I assume is the advisor for the club, entitled all of these Save the Sea. And it says these art pieces were created by the Monte Vista Elementary Ocean Guardians Club, who have collected 1,027 pieces of their litter from their school campus. Many pieces became art. All of these pieces stayed out of the ocean. So in addition to the fun work by these elementary students, we love the fact that they did actually clean their campus up and keep this trash out of the watershed as part of this project. And also Emily Pomeray, our program manager here at Save Our Shores, had the chance to work with these students. So Emily, I don't know if you want to say anything, but she had a chance to kind of work with these students, and so obviously, potentially her work with the students also inspired them here.
I was not fortunate enough to work with this group of students. I actually worked with the National Charity League students who submitted a separate entry.
I knew that, and you corrected that for me, and I still got that wrong.
That's okay. I can speak about working with them later on.
There you go. Well, Emily, if you want to click through, we have close-ups of these four pieces that we can click through. So these were each entered as part of the Monte Vista collection. And then we get to our 12 to 18 years category. We have an honorable mention for Haley Shehorn. She said, although there's not a plastic bottle in this image, this is a picture of ocean with bunches of colorful plastic in it. And she said, I've cut 2 raised circles out of plastic to make the painting more 3D and realistic. It was all done with acrylic paints. And then another honorable mention in the 12 to 18 category going to Will Drago. We have 3rd place in our 12 to 18-year-old category going to Amaya Gingeris, an underwater scene with multiple fish, a reef, and an underwater volcano. And we do see some plastic bottles incorporated there. And then 2nd place in our 12 to 18-year category goes to Dylan Turzak. I love his statement here. I was stuck on a project to do. I'm not very artistic. I would have to beg to differ. I think we all are very artistic as long as we don't tell ourselves that we're not. And I could think about, all I can think about was rounding up the trash. So this is where it hit me. Show a piece that embodies rounding up plastic bottles. So we've got this abstract art there. And then 1st place in our 12 to 18-year category goes to Linnea Lyons with her awesome squid built out of a plastic bottle and some bottle caps and some other items. Then we have a few honorable mentions in our professional artist category. Beach Trash Bird by, I only have an Instagram name, and I'm not sure I can pronounce it, but Jape Nip Art. And then another piece by the same artist, Beachbird 2. And then first place in our professional artist category goes to Franco Pacheco, who I believe is a visiting artist who worked with the 2021 senior class at the National Charity League in Monterey Bay. And this is, I guess, the group that Emily worked with. I'm sorry for the earlier mistake, but this mural was built from plastic bottle caps, and it is to represent the standard of respect for others and our world. So Emily, if you wanted to say anything about working with this group.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to present to this group of students last year, and we talked about the Save Our Shores mission and some of our work. We talked a lot about Coastal Cleanup Day and conducting cleanups, but we also talked about the importance of preventing pollution in the first place and stopping things upstream. And they were able to participate in coastal cleanup, which was really awesome. And a few months after we had met, the students reached out again, saying that they were working on a senior class project and they were interested in collaborating with Save Our Shores. And I gave them a few ideas of directions I thought they could take it, and we kind of went back and forth. And I had not seen the end result until this contest, so it was so incredible to see what they came up with and how impactful the piece was that they created. And I'm really excited to see it, and I'm happy for all of them that they were able to put this together.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Emily. So we have just a really quick little slideshow that'll show other entries that came in, and then we will be closing out the evening.
Thank you, Gail, for presenting the winners for our plastic pollution art contest. And thank you to all the participants in the art contest, our videographers, our photographers. We're so grateful for your participation and how you highlighted the need to keep our ecosystems healthy and also thriving for wildlife and humans alike. And so we wanted just to end the evening with kind of a tie together of the bigger picture in our mission statement, and how Save Our Shores is working to keep marine conservation moving forward for all communities and to help foster the connection between ocean health and climate health, because they are inherently connection. You know, there isn't one without the other. We need both. And so we certainly have to make sure we're working together to bring that big picture of climate health moving forward. And so what we wanted to make sure we ended the night with was that there's so much power in people participating in grassroots movements. And Save Our Shores really is just one example of a small group of people coming together to do their best to make a change. And we so appreciate your support. The real work really gets done when through, people power. So when people come together, it's important for us as communities to realize that staying involved and coming together to make sure things move forward for marine conservation is in our hands, especially as we watch the ongoings of COP26. It's really on us as citizens to put pressure on and keep it on to see the changes that we need so that we have a thriving community and a thriving ecosystem for our generation and future generations. And so please continue to learn, gather, and support climate action movements, conservation efforts, and organizations doing this work in any way that you can. You can help through donating, through volunteering, and just staying connected as well so that we all know what needs to happen moving forward. So we're so grateful for your participation and for your support. And we want to thank you all so much for joining us at this event virtually and here at Save Our Shores. And we really can't wait to see you in person as we get into 2022. And into events in the upcoming year. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed your evening with us on a lovely Friday, and have an amazing evening and weekend.
Thank you, everyone.